Hi, my name is Dominic Lawson, host and creator of Black is America. This show has always been a passion project from the very start. See, when Kenda and I started this show, we knew it was important to present these stories in a new and unique way. And we have held true to that. I wasn't sure of the reception we would receive from both the critics, but more importantly, you, the fans. But all of you have said overwhelmingly that not only do you love the show, that you want more of it. Listen, I know you saw the title of this preview. Just bear with me. I'll get to it. Trust me. And for season 3, we plan to give you more of what you asked for. And to show good faith, in this preview, we're going to share not one, but 2 opening segments from this season, which debuts February 1st, 2024. But before I get to that, I want to shout out a fan of ours that left a really nice review over on Apple Podcast. This is Mordo80. He said, quote, "One episode in and I'm already inspired and hooked. Dominic is a fantastic storyteller and I look forward to hearing more stories like Lieutenant John Fox's." Thank you, Mordo. I appreciate that. Before I continue, I owe you, the fans, an apology. See, as a podcaster, if I'm going to promise something, then I need to deliver. Otherwise, you're going to lose trust in me as a host. I promised some stories that I didn't follow through on, and I am sorry about that. But I also appreciate you giving me another chance. And one of those stories I promised was about an astronaut. See, I have always been fascinated by space exploration and the questions they are trying to answer. Who is out there? What is out there? So it was only a matter of time that we were going to tell the story of Guyon Bluford, the first African American to go into space. Imagine it, just a few generations removed from enslavement, and here we are putting a Black American into the cosmos. There is so much more to unfold in this episode. So here it is, the first 2 minutes of Guyon Bluford, the American astronaut, and it begins now. It's nighttime on August 30th, 1983. Here at the Kennedy Space Center, the 8th NASA Space Shuttle mission and the 3rd flight of the Space Shuttle Challenger is about to launch. The weather is not exactly ideal as there have been heavy thunderstorms and rain. The mission has been slightly delayed and may be scrubbed altogether if the weather doesn't clear up. Now, this mission is historic for a couple of reasons. For starters, it will be the first shuttle mission with a nighttime launch. Also, one of the astronauts will be the oldest person to go into space at the time. And then there is another historic first.
The first time that a Black American astronaut goes into space.
Lieutenant Colonel Guyon Bluford, a fighter pilot and aerospace engineer, is on board as a mission specialist. He will be conducting science experiments and deploying a communication satellite INSAT. After some time, it appears that the weather has cleared and Mission Control has given the go to launch.
Critical vehicle functions from now through liftoff. T-minus 20 seconds and counting.
While Guyon Bluford would tell you himself that he is not an activist of any kind, he does recognize, however, the significance of the moment. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. We have engine start. 2, 1. We have ignition and we have liftoff. Liftoff 32 minutes after the hour and the shuttle has cleared the tower.
Roger, roll. Houston confirms good roll program. Standing by for...
And as Guyon Bluford heads to space and blazes a trail for many to come behind him, he knows that there is so much more than the propulsion of an RS-25 engine that is thrusting him further and further amongst the stars. That episode will serve as the Black History Month opener as we tell the story of this amazing man. And if you have been listening to this show long enough, then you know that won't be the only story we tell. We love giving multiple stories of heroes to root for in our episodes. Yes, we told the story of Doris Miller in season 2, but you also heard the heroic tale of Charles Jackson French. We love packing each episode with as much value, entertainment, and of course, education as possible. And it's for that reason and others why the critics have loved Black is America. Since we last spoke, this show has captured more hardware on the national stage. For starters, we picked up Best Editing and Best Sound Design for the Black Podcasting Awards, not to mention 6 Signal Awards, which included a Gold Award for Best Host, thank you by the way, and also a Gold for General History. And I think our crown jewel during award season was the episode we did on Tom Lee, the Everyday American Hero, as it garnered 3 of the 6 Signal Awards I just spoke about. But it is also that episode that yielded the People's Choice Award for Best Documentary at the 27th Annual Webby Awards, one of the biggest and most prestigious awards in the world when it comes to things on the internet. We beat the likes of ESPN and Slate Magazine in our category. It also afforded Kenda and myself to go to New York for the award ceremony and meet other winners, and also see some of the special guests that were also winners, like Tracy Ellis Ross, SZA, Toby Nwigwe, and others. So that lets you know just how cool the Webby is. But none of that would have even been possible without you, the listener, supporting the show, listening to the show, sharing the show, and more. Thank you so much for that. And speaking of award-winning content, hopefully we have another winning piece with this one. A good friend of mine, Chutney Young, shared a social media post with me about Ann Lowe. I wasn't too familiar about this fashion designer, but I learned very quickly that she was someone who is revered in the industry. So I thought maybe I can do something unique with her story. So here's the preview for Ann Lowe, an American original for season 3 of the Black is America podcast. And it begins now. Black culture and creativity is as American as apple pie and baseball. From the TikTok creators of today to our music, Black culture has always decided what is cool here in the US and around the world. And when it comes to fashion design, that is still true. Kanye West and Rihanna may be household names, but Virgil Abloh, artistic director at Louis Vuitton, and Tracy Reese, who has dressed A-listers such as Michelle Obama and Regina King, are also defining not only what is worn in pop culture, but also what is worn on the red carpets and galas put on by heads of state. But if you think this is a new occurrence, then I have quite the story for you. But first, I need to invite you to a wedding. Let me just grab my invitation here. There it is. Mr. and Mrs. Hugh Dudley Auchincloss request the honor of your presence at the marriage of Mrs. Auchincloss's daughter, Jacqueline Lee Bouvier, to the Honorable John Fitzgerald Kennedy, United States Senate, on Saturday, the 12th of September at 11 o'clock at St. Mary's Church, Spring Street, Newport, Rhode Island. This wedding has a who's who of the day and is considered the social event of the season. Vogue magazine will go on to call this wedding truly legendary. But anybody who goes to a wedding knows that the dress is the most important part of the ceremony. And as Jacqueline Bouvier comes down the aisle, the dress is an instant hit. It's a beautiful dress of ivory tissue silk with a portrait neckline, fitted bodice, and a bouffant skirt embellished with bands of more than 50 yards of flounces. Her rose point lace veil, worn first by her grandmother Lee, was draped from a tiara of lace and orange blossoms. Now, many would have thought that this dress was designed by Christian Dior or Cristobal Balenciaga, the top designers of the day, due to the bride and groom's family's wealth and connections. Not even close. This dress, which was the beginning stages of Americans knowing Jackie Kennedy as a fashion icon, was designed by an African-American woman, Ann Lowe. This third-generation fashion designer dressed many of high society's elite and is regarded as the fashion world's best-kept secret. That is because Ann Lowe, just like many of her pieces she created, was truly an American original. I really think you're going to love this piece, as I did some very interesting things with this episode, including adding the story of a singer and dancer who is also a spy. I got something really cool in store for you with that one. And of course, rest assured it's going to be connected to the Ann Lowe story. But trust me, you're going to enjoy it from the beginning to the end. And speaking of the end, you may have seen a social media post from weeks ago announcing the season 3 of Black is America will be its last. And as of right now, that is still the case. Are we tired of telling these stories? Of course not. Have we run out of stories? Absolutely not. It's simply the age-old wanting to go out on top. See, I love these stories and this show, and above all else, you, the listener. And I would hate for it to go on to season 4, 5, and 6, and the quality start to go down. See, here at Owl's Education Company, there are other projects we want to launch that are important. And so that's going to take away some of my focus and effort that would go into Black is America. However, conversations have been had and meetings have been proposed that may change that. Maybe there will be another season of Black is America, or maybe the future of the show just looks different from the seasons past. Honestly, as of this recording, I don't know the answer to that question. But what I do know, that while I have you for season 3, we will give you the absolute best podcast that we can give you. That is what you have come to expect, and more importantly, that is what you deserve. So with that being said, I want to welcome you to season 3 of the Black is America podcast, which debuts February 1st. Be sure to like, review, and subscribe to Black is America on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also listen to the show and read transcripts of each episode on blackisamericapodcast.com. There, you can read our blog, leave us a review. You can also leave us a voicemail to let us know what you think about the show that we may play in a later episode. Once again, welcome back for season 3 of the multi-award-winning Black is America podcast, where our history comes to life. We will talk to you in February.